Welcome to Black Sheep.
Hi there, I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting in Needham, Massachusetts. It's fall, and today I woke up to temperature in the 60s, and so I wore a sweater. And the sweater I'm wearing, believe it or not, is the same as this finished object that I just bound off this morning. And this was a yarn that was advertised as a worsted. Well, I ended up getting 5.5 to the inch, so it's not worsted. And so you have to be careful when someone says worsted, DK, whatever. You really need to go by the stitches per inch, not by those terms, because everybody has a different definition of what that is. But this is called Evendoon. And I did this one in a fingering weight and a mohair held together. And this is the pattern. Although I have a feeling that the gauge was 5 to the inch and not 5.5, and somehow I probably fudged it, as I am wont to do. Yeah, Robin's shocked. When do I not fudge something? No, I'm right. It's 22. So it is what I call a DK. So I used this yarn that was advertised as a worsted, and I ended up, sorry for the crinkle, when I went to do the binding, you know, the ribbing at the bottom and the button band, I started to use a worsted and it was too big. So I went down, this is Sueño, and I went down to their DK sport weight. I don't think this isn't it, but and it worked out just fine. And I did, if some of you remember, last podcast I was talking about a 1-row buttonhole, and this is what they look like. And I did make kind of a mistake, and it does tell you in the directions at one point not to pull hard at either end, and I did, and you end up with these, in some cases, little holes there, but I'm not going to let that bother me. So the button that I chose for this has just gone walkabout. It was right here. Here it is. So that's my button for the button band, and I thought that went nicely with this color. I bought this yarn at Rhinebeck last year, and I told myself I was going to finish, if I bought yarn at Rhinebeck last year, I've got to finish it by the time I go. If I bought it last year, I have to finish it by the time I go next year. So this got finished. Because it's fall, it kind of makes me think of cabled sweaters. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, and we have some patterns that we think would be good. And the first one I wanted to talk about is the Siri Cardigan, S-I-R-I, by leKnit. She's, I don't know if it's Lena Holmes Samso. And it calls for a DK yarn, but it's 15 stitches over 4 inches in seed stitch. So what we came up with was, did we decide on the Ultra Alpaca? And we love this because of it's 50 wool, 50 alpaca, and we love it because it's soft, number one, and number two, because of its round, twisted construction. I think it's like a 2-ply. I'm not good on plies, but they're round. It's really nice. So it's very good for stitch definition. And this has beautiful cables in it. And if you love to do cables, this is a good pattern for you. And if you haven't done cables before, try it. They're fun. They're fun the way they come out. And you can teach yourself to do, I often do cables without a cable needle, and so there's a way to do that, which is also fun. And it eliminates holding the cable needle, although there are other people who sort of poo-poo that and say they like the cable needle. I don't like extra equipment, so if I can get away with not using it, I do. I can't do it on a 10 stitch cable, or but you can do it easily on a 4 stitch cable, and even maybe a 6. So I pulled some of the Ultra Alpaca to show you what would be good, and I neglected to pull a white, which I think would have been a good one, but I'll show you some of the colors. This is called Zephyr, and we have, Robin got me a white because I think this lends itself to white, and this is in their Ultra Alpaca Naturals. Berroco has for some natural undyed ones. Is this one also? No, this isn't. But they have a few that are just undyed, which is nice to have. So we have the white, we have this one I said was, no, I didn't say, is the Periwinkle Mix, which I've always loved that blue. And we also have Eggplant. But be mindful that cable construction, cables on darker yarns sometimes are harder to see the cables. So think about that when you make a choice. This one I think would be lovely. It's Salt and Pepper. And when you make a cardigan, cardigans are garments that you wear a lot. You throw them on, take them off. If you're cold, you put it back on. So think about the colors that you're choosing. Is it going to go with everything? If you just want it for something that you wear sometimes, then pick one of the colors. But if it's something that you think you're going to wear a lot, think about neutrals. So that's a good one. This one's Steel Cut Oats, which is a very popular one of those, and the cables would show up beautifully. And finally, Avocado. Interesting. This is greener than not as much yellow in it as I thought there would be, but it's a stunning green color. Avocado. So that's one choice. Another one is a hat that has been very popular, and it's in a worsted. Again, here's worsted at 23 stitches, but that's in the cable pattern. So you're going to use a worsted weight yarn, but your gauge is going to be smaller because you're doing cables. So you need to, and what you might want to do is a swatch with in the cable pattern. That's what I would do. So I pulled some worsted weight yarns this is a new yarn for us that I think would be really nice. This is called Mirelle. I started a sweater in this. Somehow I put it aside, I guess. But it's 65 wool and 35 silk. So it's got a bit of a sheen to it. This is called Tinsmith. And this is called Rust. And this one actually calls for 16.5 stitches. So it's a heavy worsted, so that it's a little iffy. So maybe a better selection, but you can do a gauge. See what you come up with. And it does come in, one size. So it's for 21 to 23 inches, which is kind of an average size head. But I think it's got some give to it. So if you take a look at it, you might see that. So I was going to show you another yarn that I would recommend is the Rios. This is called Teal Feather. And this is, I love this one, Dolce de Leche. Really pretty. And these are so soft for hats. And this is the infamous Ravelry Red. Isn't that gorgeous? And for those of us who want to be feminine, this is Valentina. And then we have a nice gray, it's called Pearl. So I like those a lot for this hat. And This one is called
Gone
Glamping. And this is a beautiful hat. And you could use the Rios for that as well. And it's got this cool sort of lacy pattern and then a cable on the back, on the front, excuse me. So all of those Rios colors would be good for this as well. This one, I don't know what this, it's not Pearl 10. I don't remember the colorway. But if you come in the shop, you can look. So, another pattern, and I've been looking at this for a long time. It's by Sari Nordlund, and it's called the Book Club Cardigan. And it's been done, gosh, tons and tons of times. 928 projects on Ravelry for this sweater. It's just a beautiful, beautiful cables, and it's very wearable. And the gauge is 4.5 over 4 inches in moss stitch on larger needles after blocking. So it pays to read what the gauge means, because this 18 stitches over 4 inches in stockinette, I think, would be different than in the moss stitch. So do your gauge. Always do a gauge anyway. But she has used a lace and a sport weight. So we picked out, I don't know, we picked this out. Now I've got second thoughts, but you could try it. This is the exIcited silk mohair with Lanas light, and the Lanas light's a beautiful color. It's called Evergreen. And then we picked this suspect Loden. I got my doubts about that, but you never know. That might work. One I just picked as we were looking, I thought this might be fun. This is the Ellla Rae Cashmereno Sport, which is what somebody was talking about today on a podcast, which used to be, it's the same yarn, same mill, was Debbie Bliss Cashmereno, spelled with an I. This is spelled with an E. So it's the same yarn, and it's part cashmere, like 12%, and then 33% acrylic and 55 merino. So it's a workhorse of a yarn, and I paired it with, this color is Jacaranda, and I paired it with the exIcited silk mohair called Lavender. I thought those, and incidentally, when you put a mohair with, hold it together with another yarn, it often takes on a lot of the mohair's color. So bear that in mind when you put things together.
Is that because the mohair sticks out? Her fibers?
I think because it sticks out. Yes, Robin said because it sticks out. These two colors were almost identical, so it wasn't going to change much, I don't think. So then we have the Lanas light in cherry, black cherry, and the silk mohair in wine. I think those will be stunning together. And then for people who love red, and I do like red, this is Lanas light in berries and the silk mohair in red. And I think this will tone this down a fair amount. So those are some good choices for that. And you could you might want to pick a tan. I don't even know if we had a tan up there, or a white. Robin, can you just grab the white in the Lanas light? That, yeah. This might be lovely, and we do have a white mohair you could pair with it. I think this would be really lovely with that. So then, the Siri Cardigan. Did we just talk about that?
Mm-hmm. There, you're going to talk about that.
Sorry, I'm a little spacey today.
Not quite back yet.
No. Getting over COVID, golly. that was my first bout with it, and
Welcome to the club.
it wasn't all that much fun. Okay, here is a sweater that Robin is making called Brizna, Brizna, made in, and I have started one, and I'm now going to rip it out. I started a different one, but now that I saw in this color, it's the akari from Noro yarns, and it's super soft. But I'm going to rip mine out and do what Robin's done. So
Because of the pockets.
because I love it has, well, and I love this ribbing down the side. It's around on the side and on the back, and then it gets a pocket on either side, and here's the pocket that you mattress stitch on. But this yarn is it's just a lovely, lovely yarn. And Robin did hers in this gray, but we also have this bright blue called, I have no idea. There's no, we apparently have put yarn out without tags, without price tags. Isn't that smart of us? And this one, I don't know what this is called either. Color number 6. There's pink, and it does come in, I think, stripes. But
Yeah, but I don't know if you want to do
you might not want to do stripes.
There's a brown
Oh, there's a brown. I like the brown, Robin.
and a gray. The gray
Okay.
is what I did.
So this one does have price tag. This one does not. This is color number 29. That's a great fall color. And a very, that's
It
something
almost
you
looks
wear
a
all
little
the
burgundy
time.
in there,
There is a little bit of reddish burgundy.
which is really nice.
Yeah, you can see it's very pretty. And then here's the gray that Robin did. I recommend this yarn a lot. I think it's just a lovely, soft, beautiful yarn. What size needle did you use? Do you remember?
7.
A 7. Okay, on a 7. I think it's a nice.
Took 2 weeks.
Took her 2 weeks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
It's very fast.
you're amazing.
Well, it went fast.
And did we talk about this? We didn't.
Did not talk about this.
Okay.
Or this. So
Okay, so we have a sweater. We've had it here in the shop, and now I think I'm going to take it home so I can wear it. It's called Horology. Kate Davies, who I really love as a designer, which is what this is. And it's got this cables down the front and cables down the back. And it was done with, we don't have the pattern out here, do we?
No.
But it was done, I think
it was if you did a fingering weight. It's not 1 o'clock. You did a fingering weight with mohair.
but I have a feeling it wasn't a fingering weight. Let's get out, while we're here, our gauge and see. Everybody know how to do a measure gauge. If you don't, I have a lot of people who come in and ask me to measure their gauge for them, but it should be something you can do on your own. If you get one of these, Susan Bates' little handy dandy thing. And so if you start in the corner, and I get a needle and I poke in the center of the V's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Robin is correct in that I think
24.
it was, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly. So it's a sport weight. So we got a sport weight, and that is a fingering with a mohair. So I got some, if this should tickle your fancy, I pulled out some yarns that we think might look nice. There again, you would do a gauge and make sure. So we have, this is Ariel Petal and Harriet Fine Dollhouse. Harriet Fine is a lovely yarn. It's alpaca, polyamide, and polyamide. That's it. So the polyamide is in there to give the alpaca some strength, because alpaca is it tends to travel and grow. And so with the polyamide in there, it really prevents that. And another one,
which is what the wool does for this, right?
Wool does that in the Ultra Alpaca.
Right.
Here's one that I quite like. This is travertine and raw white. These two together, I think, will be pretty, and you'll see the cables really nicely with this combo. And this, which is basically sort of what I have on, is Calypso. It's the blue, and this is navy. Put those together, and then one more. We have light blue and Bahia Beach, which is pretty. Now, don't be put off by if you put two colors together that you think might not work, because they're not exactly the same color. But when you put them together, they become something really nice. And don't be afraid.
You can see there's depth in this.
Yes.
It has like a little bit of a...
Yes. It has some depth in the color. Mm-hmm. And you put these together and they become a new color, which is really nice. Yes, I'm going to do the Lumme pullover by Sari Nordlund. We love her, obviously. And these are my colors. And I'm about to spill my drink. I'm in the midst of doing a gauge. And so I started, and this was too loose. So what I did, so that I can separate, so I changed my needle. I went down a needle size. And then I've started my stockinette is going to be on this side, so that separates. You see how I did my first gauge? There's the reverse stockinette. And so I turned it around, and I'm doing the stockinette on this side, so it's separated the two, so I can tell. And the colors that I want to use for it, though I'm not exactly sure how I will, and these were yarns I bought in Iceland. But we certainly have yarns here in the shop that will work, and I think I'll probably put this white with it. So it'll be a little bit of an experiment, and I think what I might do, I'm not sure. I got to figure out my colors, where they're going to go. So we'll see. I think that may be it for today. We rambled on quite a bit, and I'm happy to be back, and we'll see you next time. Happy knitting. Bye.